From its first installment, the MCU has captivated the attention of billions of viewers. From the first movie about a brilliant but narcissistic inventor, to the next series starring a selfless boy willing to do anything for his country, people around the world were enraptured by the growing collection of Marvel stories that had both heart and action. The creators of Marvel had this uncanny ability to take these relatively unknown heroes who were new to the general public, like Iron Man, Thor, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and make them into beloved icons. I still remember when Guardians of the Galaxy came out and people had zero concept of who they were, and they barely even had any comics on their story. But the movie achieved remarkable success around theaters worldwide, grossing $773.3 million USD worldwide and becoming the third highest grossing film of its year. Since then, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has had some great moments and some not so great moments. Sadly, according to a lot of fans, nothing Marvel has produced recently has even come close to the cinematic experience that they created with the Avengers arc. Until Wolverine and Deadpool. And if you're wondering why I'm even proposing that Wolverine and Deadpool has been Marvel's best movie since the Avengers arc, let me explain why. Number 1. In this movie, Marvel finally played to their strengths. Let's face it, Marvel fans are huge nerds. Yes, there are a lot of casual fans that only watch the movies and don't know much about the comics, but a good chunk of their audience grew up with these superheroes. Whether they tuned into Sunday cartoons starring the colorfully dressed X-Men, or they remember when Marvel was just starting to create its cinematic universe. A lot of people feel deeply connected to the characters, no matter who is playing the role. In Deadpool and Wolverine, instead of giving little hints and small references, they included big references that both casual watchers and mega nerds alike would enjoy. Let me tell you, I never thought I'd see the day when Chris Evans would appear on a Marvel screen and yell,
Sorry, what?
I honestly thought Fox and that version of the Fantastic Four was just gone into the ether forever, never to be referenced again. So I was incredibly happy to see them even talking about it on screen. I mean, we got Elektra, Gambit, X-23, Henry Cavill as a Wolverine variant, Blade, Nightcrawler's father, Azazel, Juggernaut, Sabretooth, Psylocke, Toad, Pyro, Lady Deathstrike from the X2 movie, Callisto, and so many references to iconic battles and outfits that Wolverine has had in the comics. Even the Guardians' ship, the Milano, and Doctor Strange's cloak popped up in this movie. I feel like this movie has been a feast for Marvel fans. Even non-Marvel movie references were made so that even fans of the actors themselves could get excited about their numerous fourth wall breaks. In addition to the references being a huge selling point for the movie, another way Marvel played to their strengths is finally using the multiverse plotline to their advantage. Since Endgame, we've been bombarded by multiverse movie after multiverse movie. I know some fans are gonna say, we're in the multiverse saga right now. That's what it's supposed to be. Phase 4, Phase 5, they were all in the multiverse saga. I know, and I simply do not really care. We've still been bombarded by these movies. And by multiverse movie, I mean movie in which the multiverse is discussed or tapped into. And I'm sorry, but I feel like it's been never ending, and it's starting to make audiences think that nothing matters. Hey, if I see this character die on screen brutally and painfully, doesn't matter because technically we can alter the timeline and bring back whoever the hell we want. So the stakes have been eternally lowered in Marvel movies. The multiverse plotline has showed us that there will always be a reset button that Marvel can push whenever they want. When we first saw time travel in the Avengers movies, it was novel and new. I remember when people were going crazy when pictures on set released and fans figured out that they were going to go back and save everyone using some kind of time machine device. Now, time, the multiverse, the time variance authority. Time, I'm sick of time. It's been used so many times and we're tired of it. Now, I think I've made it pretty clear that I'm not a fan of the multiverse being used so frequently. And yes, I would have preferred if this movie hadn't dealt with the multiverse at all. But I enjoyed the fact that this movie is simply concerned with this timeline. Let me explain that a little bit. Yes, I know that this movie deals with other timelines, and we get to see a lot of them when Deadpool searches for another Wolverine he can use to replace his own timeline's Wolverine. But we don't have to worry about other timelines being affected because Deadpool doesn't care about other timelines being affected. Does that make sense? I'm sure the other timelines that Deadpool touched were irrevocably changed by his meddling, but we don't have to care about it because this is Deadpool's story, and his thoughts and actions are centered on his own selfish desires. It's not using the Eye of Agamotto. It's not using the Darkhold to alter the fabric of reality. We aren't using time machines to go back and prevent Thanos from getting the Infinity Stones. No, we are using a time variance device for the simple task of finding a Wolverine. And the simplicity of that goal is what helps this movie stand out a bit from other movies in Marvel's Multiverse saga. Number 2, this movie was very unpredictable. These days, I feel like I can chart out the entire storyline of a Marvel movie from beginning to end. But with this movie, I feel like something different and exciting was happening pretty often. A big part of why Madam Web felt so disjointed was because of all the time they took to get things done. It took too long for the story to move forward, and when it did move forward, there were these long, odd time jumps, so we felt distant from the story and the characters. Cassie taking a plane ride to go back to the jungle where her mother was killed in the middle of the story while a deadly man is hunting down her charges just felt like an extremely awkward side quest within the story. Now, Wolverine and Deadpool falling into the void was still essentially a bit of a side quest from the main story of stopping Paradox from destroying the timeline, but everything still happened within the same time frame without any awkward, random time jumps. We get to see everything that happened to them from the moment that they dropped into the void, and there are no gaps where we are left guessing at what happened between them. Their adventures in the void are fast-paced and exciting enough for us to stay interested, while also having these moments of connection between Wolverine and Deadpool. And that helps us remember why we love watching Marvel movies in the first place. Number 3. This movie was very smart to bring these two particular characters together. An advantage of this, quite frankly, genius pairing is that Deadpool and Wolverine features two characters that we're not tired of yet. The last time we saw Wolverine in any Marvel movie was in 2017, and Deadpool 2 came out in 2018, and neither of these characters have had any type of cameos in other Marvel movies since then. One of Marvel fans' biggest complaints is that Marvel has begun to release movies too often. They don't have the same weight to them, and people don't get as excited for them because they know that another Marvel movie will come out in 5 to 6 months. There were 3 Marvel movies that came out in 2023, and this increased release schedule for Marvel is simply a consequence of Marvel rushing to fit in movies so that their carefully planned phases and sagas don't take 20 years to finish. So if releasing less movies isn't an option, the best thing they can do is give us characters that we're attached to, but don't see that often. I think it's why all the cameos hit fans so hard. It's because we haven't seen half these characters in so long, so it's a lot more impactful. Seeing Deadpool and Logan again felt like a warm, well, not exactly a warm hug, but it felt comfortable and even endearing at times to see them yell and nag at each other. Aside from that, another way these two are a perfect pairing is because of their abilities. Whoever thought of bringing these two together on screen, thank you. I mean, they're both able to regenerate, so we get to see them fight to their fullest without either of them pulling their punches. And we get to see a lot of full-out fights between them. where any other Marvel character would have been dead or heavily injured by now. But these two just keep going, which made the movie feel even more fun and even relaxing in a way. Because I didn't have to worry about them dying at all from random misplaced bullets or an unlucky knife or anything like that. So I was able to sink into the humor and not feel anxious, even while these two are working to save multiple timelines. Number 4. It wouldn't be a Deadpool movie without there being humor, and this movie nailed it. I genuinely feel like the jokes were very funny. As we know, right, Deadpool is the merc with the mouth, and I really think Ryan Reynolds killed this. It's a lot harder to act when your face is being covered for most of the movie, and he still really did it. You can still feel Deadpool's emotions. You can feel his sadness, his desperation to save his timeline and the people he loves, even when you can't see his face. We can't even see his eyebrows, which is a big part of reading someone's emotions. You can still feel his emotions radiating off the character because he does a great job of communicating through his actions. In addition to his acting, his voice is really incredible as Deadpool. People use the word iconic very loosely. I do think his voice is almost iconic in a way that as soon as you hear it, you know it's Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool, which is really specific.
Oh, hello. I know, right? Whose balls did I have to fondle to get my very own movie? I can't tell you, but it does rhyme with Wolverine.
Because even though it's his voice, the way he talks when he's Deadpool is a bit different. It's a bit sharper, a bit wittier. I don't know how to explain it, but his voice as Deadpool to me is quite iconic. Number 4. Marvel is finally funny again. I really do think Marvel has been missing humor in their past movies. And it's not for lack of trying. They've definitely been trying to make audiences laugh, but they haven't quite been succeeding as well as they used to. And I'm definitely talking about this movie. I don't know what was going on with the script. They needed help. Badly. And with Deadpool and Wolverine, it felt like the jokes were organic. Kind of like Deadpool, Wolverine, and all the other characters were thinking up these jokes on the spot. That it wasn't a script, you know? So that authentic feeling that the jokes gave me made me feel like this was a great movie for Marvel to tell audiences, yes, we can still be funny. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of doubting them, but they hit it out of the ballpark with this movie. Because of all these things, Deadpool and Wolverine is Marvel's best movie since Phase 3. And if you're still wondering why, above all else, Deadpool and Wolverine is so great because it's self-aware. And it's why the fourth wall breaks work so well. It knows exactly what it is. A simple but funny story with interesting and straightforward villains with very straightforward motives, and a storyline that has big world-ending implications but somehow still feels small and encapsulated within this tiny Wolverine and Deadpool bubble. It doesn't try to do too much while also clearly acknowledging fans' disappointment with the quality of Marvel movies that have been released since Endgame. In the movie, Deadpool literally says, the quality has been going down since the Avengers movie. We come away from Deadpool and Wolverine feeling, yes, this is what Marvel movies should be. Funny, a little emotional, but above all, action-packed. This movie hit that right on the mark, and it's why Deadpool and Wolverine is without a doubt Marvel's best movie since Endgame. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a great day and feel free to subscribe. Bye bye.